When the Rockets visited Madison Square Garden last night, they were the talk of the town, winning 7 of their last 9, including an overtime win over the Celtics. I'm sure they didn't expect much of a fight from the Knicks, despite them doubling their winning percentage from David Fizdale to Mike Miller. But what they got is what every team should be trying to do to the Rockets. And while the result was anything but decisive, they held on for dear life until the last second ticked off the clock and the final buzzer sounded. One key to beating the Rockets is to get some major production from an unexpected source. While RJ Barrett has struggled throughout his rookie year, he was hitting shots from all over the floor to the tune of 14 first quarter points and 27 in the game. They got him going with a weave across the top that culminates in a ball screen. It's a good way to combat all that switching the Rockets do, and eventually it catches Covington 3 steps too low and Barrett getting a clean look. When not swishing, he was dishing, as Russ tries for the silly reach-around steal. This is a professional ball handler, mind you, and no one is left to cover Taj Gibson on the roll. We get a high post split in the left side, but the switch covers up the inside ball screen, and Mo Harkless misses the wide-open Randall on his cut through the lane. However, Harkless slips his own low post screen, Harden is completely lost, and that's a dunk. Using inside ball screens forces the defense to be on point with their switching. Both players get drawn to the roll man initially, then both of them run to the ball, and that leaves the backside open for the easy alley. It was kind of funny to see how the Rockets dealt with 7-footer Mitchell Robinson. This time they put Harden on him, but it was Austin Rivers who was the target for the Knicks offense, and with Harden protecting the paint, he waves his hands at the ball a couple of times, but to no avail. On this next possession, they tried putting the 6'3" Russ on Robinson. He's just not used to being an enforcer in the paint, and RJ again abuses Austin Rivers for an even easier lefty layup without much resistance. You've got to be really concerned for a team that likes to switch if they're still screwing up off the pick and roll consistently this late in the season, with nary a soul around to rotate and try and stop it. Of course, the real concern for the Rockets and their ultra small ball lineups is offensive rebounding. Eric Gordon is maybe 6'2", so it was laughable to see him try and box out a player who is at least 10 inches taller. Another thing you need to do to defeat the Rockets is to get hot from behind the arc. In the first half, the Knicks were scintillating at almost 53%, while the Rockets made the same amount of threes, but took 11 more to get there. Here's another weave across the top that morphed into a step-up screen from Knox, and Wayne Ellington won't waste any time to get some shots up. Not a hand goes up from Russ, so this shot goes down. Knowing Ellington is a designated shooter, it was curious to me to see Russ out of position and not marking him at all times. As a result, he's 2 steps slow, Covington was late reacting to the dribble handoff, and the lead is extended to 16. The high water mark for the Knicks was a 21-point lead on this possession, as they forced Austin Rivers onto Taj Gibson. Credit Daniel House for scramming Rivers out of there, but it left him on an island guarding Bobby Portis, who's 7 inches and 50 pounds heavier. Not much he can do on this power move. Another key to beating Houston is to force them to miss their 3-point shots. However, a closer look at why they shot 9 for 28 in the first half, and you might not give a ton of credit to the Knicks defense. Shot after shot was generated using their offense to force closeouts, then swing it nicely to the open man for perfectly makeable shots. I'm sure Daryl Morey didn't feel too concerned as they fell down by 20 points because, eventually, these shots would start to go in unless the defense figured some things out in a hurry. James Harden is altogether a different beast in this scenario. He's going to get that sidestep shot off, so it's a matter of whether he hits it or not, independent of what the defense really does. They caught him on an 0 for 6 bender in the first half, and I'm sure the Rockets didn't panic, knowing eventually he'd start making them. Going down low against Harden proves time and again to be a difficult proposition despite any size advantage, and it made 0 sense for McLemore to help down low and allow Frank the wide-open 3 to give the Knicks a sizable lead at the end of the third. But you can't keep the Rockets down forever. All those shots they missed in the first half started falling for them in this crucial stretch. Starting, of course, with the Harden sidestep as he gathers the ball with the right foot down, then goes left-right into the jump for the triple. But the Knicks were trading 2s for 3s, and that's how the Rockets always get back in the game, despite good defense by Ntilikina. Next, they turned to Russ out top after some ball movement, and these used to be the kind of shots he'd miss at full speed, the off-foot lefty layup. But this year, he's been excellent around the rim, and with Robinson forced to guard small ball, he's nowhere to be found protecting the rim. On this out-of-bounds play, Ellington comes over to double as the lowest man on defense, leaving Robinson to cover both players on the weak side. Watch how Russ stares a hole through Jeff Green in the left wing, luring Robinson to close out there too early, and McLemore has a practice shot. Down only 5 now, Robinson does his usual run to the middle of the key to protect the paint, but his man is spotting up on the left wing open. I like Randall rotating the cover for him. I would have liked to have seen Knox rotate one over to get a hand up on this wide open shot. But size does matter. With Miller playing Taj, Robinson and Portis, absolutely zero spacing out there, but who needs it when Harkless can do this? On the other end, Russ tries to take advantage of the mismatch, but Robinson is way too mobile and long. Randall had fallen asleep along the left baseline. Great find by Russ, but these are NBA athletes who can recover in a heartbeat. Tucker doesn't elevate enough and Randall erases his mistake. In an almost comical example of how little spacing there is for RJ to drive into, 4 Rockets are in the lane waiting for him, with a 5th not too far away, forcing a jump ball. And yet again, the Knicks make the Rockets pay big time with 2 offensive rebounds in a row when PJ Tucker is no match for Robinson or Harkless, and they earn a trip to the free throw line. Again, going at Harden isn't where it's at when he's guarding a bigger player down low. Let this be a word of caution to every other team playing the Rockets. Not clear why Frank didn't call off Harkless and pick up the ball himself, but Russ doesn't mind. He takes no prisoners. On the high post split into handoff back to the left wing, Randall does get the switch of Covington guarding him. But this rip-through move is pretty risky considering refs like to let the guys play at the end of the game. But there's another offensive rebound and another chance at free throws. Frank never figured out where the screen was and gets picked off completely, leaving Harkless to contain a full-speed Russ. Just putting your hands up ain't gonna cut it, and now the lead is 1. I like what they were getting at here with the Robinson ball screen. The pass wasn't horribly accurate, but it doesn't need to be when he's got an 8-inch height advantage. The defense completely collapses, and here's a chance for RJ to give them some real breathing room. Wow, was that short, but there's your offensive rebounding again, killing the Rockets. But Covington blocks this shot like he's been doing ever since he got to Houston. This felt like the Rockets' game at this point, down 1 with a 2-for-1 situation, and Harden handling the ball out top against Harkless. His delay game gets him right into the lane. He slows down his last step to find the opening for the layup and misses it? This was shocking and put the Knicks in the driver's seat. They run another RJ Robinson pick and roll, and credit PJ Tucker for moving his feet to stay in front the whole way, right up to the point where Barrett accidentally on purpose steps on Tucker's foot, sending him flying off balance, maybe even whacking himself in the nuts, while Barrett hits the layup. Up 3, here's the perfect foul situation for the Knicks to prevent the Rockets from even attempting to tie it up. A novel approach to put Russ and Harden deep in the backcourt, then have Russ catch it full throttle towards the rim. Frank got a pretty clean strip here, but the foul doesn't kill him. It also sets up an intentional miss of the second free throw. There's not a lot of time left to be messing around. And this was confusing as Russ should have been called for a lane violation, but then hits the shot anyway. When Randall could only hit 1 free throw, the Rockets had enough time to get a good look to either tie or win. They run the same play as earlier. Ntilikina does a much better job to prevent Russ from catching at full speed to the hoop. Now they've got nothing except a rushed isolation attempt. Not a bad look, but surprising they didn't try for the 3, and that's the game. While this blueprint of beating the ultra-small Rockets isn't sustainable, the Knicks did provide some evidence on how to hurt the Rockets and keep yourself in the game. That said, in a 7-game series, it's tough to imagine the Rockets would go cold for that long from behind the arc, and if you want to trade putback 2s for transition 3s, all I can say is good luck. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?